This is CBY, Christian Broadcasting of Yakima, your local Christian television station, bringing to our valley quality Christian programming for more than 40 years.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for Good News in the Valley, your local Christian news magazine. The Life Choices team is here, so we're blessed to have once again the executive director who will introduce her executive assistant, as well as the new marketing engagement coordinator. Then we'll hear from Jared Sessler, candidate for Congress who recently visited the disaster at the southern open border. And finally, we'll close with information about the National Day of Prayer. Our featured story is Life Choices Yakima. We welcome Executive Director Adrienne Nerug, who will introduce her new team along with the goals and daily operations of the ministry.
Hi, my name is Adrienne Nerug. I am the Executive Director of Life Choices here in Yakima, and I am going to introduce you to some of the newer people within our organization, and I'm here with Ricky today. And Ricky, tell me a little bit about yourself and your role at Life Choices.
I'm from the Yakima Valley. I've been here for my whole 30 years of life. I've done a lot of healthcare background and jobs. I'm currently going into healthcare for my future career, but for the time that I've been here at Life Choices, I do a lot of the back administrative work when it comes to inputting donations, data entry, and reaching out to churches, a lot of community outreach, and then anything that is required of me. Helping out with any translating, helping out our clients in any way. So I wear a lot of hats, but I mostly assist you and do all the administrative duty that you don't have time to do. So.
You absolutely have been very useful.
Thank you. And I've been coming up on a year in August. So.
Yes. Tell me, a lot of people think that Life Choices and the medical clinic and the pregnancy side is really for women. It's a women's issue. In fact, life and abortion and the sanctity of life, they consider that a woman's issue. Or what brought you to Life Choices as a man?
Really, it was by the grace of God finding this job, and what brought me there more is because from my background, I had a child that was premature, 4 months, that almost didn't make it, and ever since then, this has been my calling. And working at a pregnancy center, especially, that is focused more on women, it helps me as a man be more knowledgeable of pro-life and help out women, and then it helps us as men connect and form a unity and have that sort of support, because we also struggle with the emotional scarring from an abortion. So I think as a man, it helps me reach out to other men and form that bond, form that connection, and help us know what is our calling, what is our purpose, here, what is God's purpose for us here, at this ministry.
And with that, you've been pretty instrumental in kind of pushing our men's program forward,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and how life really affects men and how fatherhood affects men. So tell me, how can a man get involved in Life Choices, or on the flip side, as a father, what are some things that the center offers men?
The center offers mentoring, so we have male mentors that will offer fathers the mentoring as far as not just fatherhood classes, but also Bible studies that we're going to implement now in the program, and just that support that they will have with the mentors, and then also with the resources as well that our moms get with diapers, baby bottles, any resources that men need, because there is also those men that are in need of resources. So
we have several single men in our program right now, single fathers
Mm-hmm.
in our program, correct?
Yeah, correct, we do. And this service will help them as well with the resources that they need for their children.
So not only physical, tangible resources, diapers, wipes, clothes,
Mm-hmm.
but also those emotional, spiritual, and psychological resources as well.
Yes, correct, because it's hard, especially being, and being a parent in general is hard. It doesn't come easy. So for them to have that, connection and that support with the mentor that will guide them in the right way, that definitely will help them.
Well, especially because it's one thing from a mother, we can tell you all the things that it's like for a woman to be a mom.
Nurturing, yeah.
But I've never been a dad. So and some of our other mentors have never been a dad. So to have those males who have walked the road of fatherhood really be that support for men.
Yes, because they've walked the road and they've seen what it's like, and they've made their mistakes and they've corrected themselves. So just having that somebody guide them through that correct path makes a huge difference for men.
So in your 8 months at Life Choices, what do you think has been the biggest impact for you?
For me, it definitely has been seeing all the families that we have helped, seeing all the moms that have graduated from the programs, and then being able to assist them with the emotional support and the support as far as resources.
Is there anything that you would, if you came in contact with another dad who was kind of struggling, what would you say to him as far as referring them to Life Choices?
Well, I would say first, what is it that that you would need my help in? What can I assist you with? What would you need from me? I'm here to help you. What is it that you need me? How can I guide you into the right path to bring you here to Life Choices, and talk about what we offer and that they're not alone more than anything.
And from a male mentoring perspective, what would you say to men who you would encourage to come and be that support?
I would say to them to come and help, be support to those who are in need, and be that emotional connection, and, guide our men into the right path, and, make our men feel, valuable, and, that they are, have a purpose, and they have a purpose for their child.
Excellent. I know that from a societal point of view, a lot of times men are supposed to be the strong ones that don't really get to have emotion. And you and I have talked about that at length, that men do. They do feel like they need that support network to build them in fatherhood. And you have been a great connector of men and fathers. And we appreciate all of that.
Thank you.
One of the things that you and Adrian, one of the educators for Think Twice, are doing is starting this male Bible study. Tell me, what do you have a book you're going to do? Do you have a theme ready for this first study? What are you doing?
For the first study, we just have a theme, just first getting to know everybody, and then we're going to just work through, we'll have a theme for each session, what is our purpose as men, what are we wanting to get out of this Bible study, and we'll go out from there, and then we'll also do some scriptures from the Bible, and then just work with everybody and kind of get them all implemented and share their stories and share their backgrounds of their life and what brought them to Christ. And if they're new to Christ, we'll help them get into that path as well.
Excellent. Is there anything that you would like to share with the viewers today as far as the ministry and how they can get involved, or anything you want to share with them personally?
I would like to share, if you're a man in need of any type of resources, any emotional connection, go ahead and reach out to Life Choices. You guys can connect with us through our Friends of LCY page on our Facebook page or on our website page. And there's a lot of resources that we have. We're there for you. Our purpose there is to help you and to lead you, and we're there for His purpose and to lead you into the correct path. I know as a man, it's not easy to be a father. Every day is a challenge, and I know as men we struggle with our emotions, and we sometimes don't seek out that help. But you have a place where you can go, and you can connect with other men and be able to be a better father and just have that connection.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate your time here,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate all your effort at the office as well.
Well, thank you.
Hello, and we are back now with our new marketing and engagement coordinator, Jamie Hanks, and I'm going to ask her a few questions, get to know her a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your role at Life Choices.
Well, as you said, I'm the new marketing engagement coordinator. I'll be there 2 months on Friday, which has gone by so fast. Born and raised in Yakima, really close with my parents and brother. We're country people. We grew up in the country and just love to spend time together. Have a history background. Have a master's in history. I love colonialism and world religions, and paint a lot. Love to cook.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Tell me about How old were you when you gave your life to Christ? And tell me a little bit about your walk with Christ.
I was saved when I was 15. We didn't start going to church till I was a little bit older. And my mom and I, funny enough, got baptized on the same day, which made it super special. It was one of those moments that a lot of people don't get to say. I was baptized with my mother, and it bonded us really close. And everything I've been through in my life, I was widowed at a young age. I've gone through miscarriages, and God has been my rock. So if I didn't have him, I would not be here. As simple as that. So I was lucky to find him at a young age and be old enough to appreciate it.
Right. So tell me then, how did God lead you to the ministry of Life Choices?
So beginning of last year, I was going to a job I didn't really care for, and was driving to work one day and just looked to the left and saw an old church and realized I wasn't close with God anymore. I had just, life happens and you drift. And I had spent a long time just thinking about it and in prayer, and finally just asked him to put me where I was the most use, and left my job that I wasn't able to be fruitful there. And second interview I had was with you guys, and everyone was so welcoming, and you called the same day, and I was like, yes, this is for me. This is where I'm meant to be. So
one of the things that you had shared with me is that you wanted to be at a place that, number one, was a ministry, using the gifts and talents God gave you to further his kingdom. And that really resonated with me, is that you were seeking after a place that was faith-filled after the last experience.
yeah.
So this particular position, what does this entail? What are some of the duties?
My job is basically to get awareness of the ministry out, get people involved, volunteering, donating, getting funding, getting grants, so we can continue the ministry. We don't get money from the government. We're reliant on the generosity of other Christian people. And so my job is to make sure that they're aware of us and that they're open their hearts, and that they understand that we are more than just a pregnancy center. And when I'm talking to my family or my friends and telling what I do, they think it's, just a crisis center.
Right.
But we are about faith and family, all members of the family. So I'm trying to do my part to make sure that our message gets out there in a way that people are like, we need them. We need this ministry in Yakima.
Right.
I lived here my whole life. We need Life Choices in Yakima.
Well, and a lot of that is this misconception that the only thing we do is service people in the middle of a crisis. Teenagers specifically, they think that that's our ministry, right? Yeah. And the reality is that our major demographic is from age 25 to 35, almost older than that now, which tells me that these are adults. Right? That doesn't mean you couldn't have an unplanned pregnancy, but we have a lot of married people too, right? So other than, just the pregnancy counseling type of things, what are some other things that the center offers?
Our society doesn't really support families. They tend to focus on the negative or tear it down. Our ministry is about building families up according in the biblical way of how God intended it to be. Right. So we have counseling, we have classes, we have our baby boutique where mothers can do Earn While You Learn, where they come in and attend classes and then earn points to get
fathers too.
Fathers too. Yeah,
yes.
Fathers too. Correct. Fun events. I'm going to be planning some fun events this year to get people involved.
Tell me about that.
We're going to do it's a color run, 5K walker run, and that's going to be for people to come and have fun and get colorful and raise money. Every month I'm going to try to have an event to raise awareness. People can donate, they can volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers. You might not think you have anything to offer, but everybody, like you said, has special gifts that God gave them, or your experiences that can help someone else. You might even know what you can do until you're there. So we are always looking for people to come.
So how do people get involved if they want to volunteer? What's their first step?
Contact us.
Okay, and how will we do that?
We have a website, which is
the Friends of LCY.
Yes.
And there is a link on there under Get Involved, I think is what it's called, right?
Yes. You can call us. You can come to the clinic. You can go on our Facebook page and check it out.
Send a message. We're pretty responsive.
Yeah, super responsive. Kim's amazing at responding quickly. Yeah, there's lots of ways. You'll see us out in the community on our events. Come to one of the events and say, hey, how do I get more involved?
Well, and one of the things we're doing currently right now is our baby bottle drive,
Yes.
which we are, I believe, in 28 churches currently. Some of them have ended. We generally start those in January, but any church can start the bottle drive at any time. And that is a really great way to get involved with the ministry and to get your congregation involved. We can and have come to many churches and spoken to their congregation. If they want to get involved with the baby bottle drive, again, what's the process for that? Just contact us?
Contact us. Ricky, I think, is the one who does a lot of the organizing of that.
Yes.
We're going to be having a pastor's lunch in April. We're trying to connect with the church. We have a lot of churches in the Valley who we don't get to work with yet. We're trying to build those relationships with, so that's...
Because
that's
we're all on the same team.
Yes.
We're all
Yes.
for growing the kingdom of God.
Yes,
And if
absolutely.
we can come together with what we are for, then we can make momentum.
Yeah, I understand that we have a lot of misconceptions about us because people assume we are like Planned Parenthood. We are not like Planned Parenthood in any way, shape, or form.
We are for life.
Yes, absolutely for life, for God, for His kingdom, for His work, for His purpose.
For his family, for the building of family.
And the other thing is we don't charge any of our clients for anything. So we are not for profit. We are for people and we are for life, like you said. So I think that's an important message to get out there.
It is really important because we truly believe that as Christians, it is our job to be for them and to help them. Is there anything else that you feel that you'd like to share? Anything about the ministry or even yourself personally?
I think that people need to understand the importance of having God in your life and in your family. And this ministry is a unique one that is exactly what it's for. So we would love to have you contact us to get involved, find out, how you can help. You might not even think you have something. We could probably use it. So reach out to us and we'll make it work.
We have a board member who said that I don't know where I'm useful, but God, I'm willing and able.
Yep,
and she is an amazing person. We do have a couple board positions open now, so if you're interested in even helping with the laying of the ground work for the ministry, reach out. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Life Choices of Yakima needs volunteers, and there are many ways they can put your talents to use, so please reach out to them. Next up is Jared Sessler, candidate for the United States Congress, who is the only true conservative in the race. Recently, Jared visited the southern border, and this is what he learned.
It's a tremendous honor to be back on the Good News in the Valley. I am running for Congress for the seat that's currently held by Dan Newhouse in central Washington here. And as I said, it's an honor to be here. So I'm going to talk about a couple different things that are going on lately. One of them was a trip I took to the border, the southern border, which I've been to before. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Some pretty amazing experiences that we had down there. One involving a potential life-threatening situation, which was a little uncomfortable. And then we'll take you over to CPAC in Washington, D.C. recently, and then some other meetings and things with the House Freedom Caucus and some other folks in D.C. So the border is a tremendous crisis. It's a humanitarian crisis beyond belief. And I think it's easy to watch all the videos and the different reports on what's going on at the border and sort of just kind of get lulled into this thinking that it is not that big of a deal. It's just what's happening. We can handle it. And I would argue that probably more than 10% of our population is illegal. Now that's a larger number than what you're going to hear other people say, but I've been tracking this for a decade or more. We certainly have a massive influx over the last few years, but I even think that the amount that they're saying, amount of people that are coming across is probably underestimated. And that's again based on my experiences of visiting the border and see how porous the border is, see how limited coverage we actually have with our CBP, and in Texas they also use state troopers and things like that. So a definite problem. I mean, obviously we have the drug problem that's coming across. We have raw materials coming from China, going through Mexico, being produced into drugs that are deadly, fentanyl and others, then those coming across the border. We have the humanitarian crisis with human trafficking, which includes sex trafficking, and then also the cartel is essentially funding themselves with these folks, and they have several options for how they can get across the border, but one of them, if they can't pay money, is they need to carry drugs across the border. And then we've got just this tremendous threat from around the world with terrorism. And sitting in America today is the highest density of Hamas members than any other country in the world, than any other location in the world. There is more Hamas here, which is a terrorist organization. It's not a country, it's not a nationality, it's a choice for them to be a part of it. They are Hamas terrorists, and it's a bit of a ticking time bomb here in America. Not to be pessimistic, I totally trust God to protect us, but unfortunately we've got some threats here in our country with millions and millions of people coming across the border every single year from what they say is up to 170 different nationalities. We've got some serious problems. And so we went to the border again, went with my daughter, and then we had just a kind of a small crew to help do some video and take some photos and things like that. We were south of kind of Tucson, Phoenix area. We went to a place called Lukeville, and then we went west from there along the wall, and then we also went kind of east of there towards the Indian Reservation, which is a whole other topic, which is quite interesting because the Indian Reservation butts up against the border, and so there could be some potential issues there. But anyways, at this one situation, we're shooting video, taking photos right on the border wall. We find ourselves in a space that doesn't have cell service. We didn't realize that until we got there. And we're filming, and the guy behind the camera said, "Oh my gosh, there's thousands of people coming across the wall just like a mile down." And we turn around and we're looking. It only ended up being a few hundred, but and we do have some video of that we can show, and I was able to talk to them. But the situation was, we're in this remote area, we can't get a hold of anyone, and we're like, what do we do? And so we ended up, my daughter was with us, so we put her in the truck, made sure she was safe, told her to drive off if anything happens. And then, we stayed out there. I stood right in the middle of the main dirt walkway. I was already mic'd up, and so we had the ability to capture some audio. And I just asked the people, I'm like, why are you coming here? Where are you coming from? Do you plan to stay forever, or are you just coming here to work? Those kinds of questions. And it was quite interesting to find out that none of them were coming temporarily. They were all coming here to live. And they weren't even coming, none of them overtly were like, yeah, we're coming to work to make money. You remember when that used to be the thing that, migrants did? That wasn't the case with these folks. And so anyway, that confrontation and those moments of waiting for them to walk up were pretty tense, and we didn't know what was going to happen, but God totally worked it out, and we were able to get some interesting information. I would just say that, we need to pray about our border situation. We need to elect people that will ensure that whoever is in the White House, whoever's running the policies to make sure that our country is safe. Our number one responsibility from a federal government standpoint is to ensure that we're safe. If you read the Declaration of Independence, it's very clear with regards to that. And so the other interesting thing is you look at the difference between our great President Trump and this illegitimate buffoon we have in the White House now is there was no legal or law changes from then until now. What's different is policy. And we need people in elected positions, especially the president, that care more about the American people and our safety and security than making sure we let a bunch of invaders into the country almost on purpose. There's literally been an invitation set around the world for people to come, and not all those people are good people. So next up, I came home for a couple days, and then I traveled to D.C. for CPAC, which was really good. President Trump was there. I didn't get to talk to him at that event, but I have met him at Mar-a-Lago in the past, and just fully support him as our president. He's a great man. He's a great leader. He really understands international relations, something they tried to discredit him for in 2016. He ended up, leading one of the most peaceful times in our country's history and one of the most prosperous times. And I absolutely hope that he is reelected, and we can really work hard to put the put the pieces back together here in America that are vital to our safety and our security. So CPAC was good. The biggest reason I go there is because there's a lot of media there, and so I get a lot of interviews and podcasts and TV shows and radio and all kinds of different content for that. I did go in and listen to Milei for a little bit from Argentina, and there was a couple other really good speakers there. Carrie Lake was there, and of course President Trump. And so anyway, it was good. CPAC is great, and I would highly recommend anybody go to that in the future. I mean, it's 2 or 3 days of really packed, amazing content with great speakers and kind of a community of believers, people that think like we do about America and about the gospel and what we ought to be doing here in this great country. So after that, I followed it up, stayed in DC for another week, had several meetings. One of them was I got invited to a closed-door meeting with the House Freedom Caucus. So these are the most conservative arm, the Christians, the people that we're praying for, the people that are praying for us, that are fighting for policies that we agree with in Congress. And they have a thing called the Freedom Caucus, House Freedom Caucus. They meet once a week outside of Congress. There's about 45 members. There's not an official list, but it's about 10% of Congress. It'd be wonderful if it was more. I will definitely be one of them. Our current representative, Dan Newhouse, is not a member of the Freedom Caucus because he is not that conservative, and I think his voting record shows it. Which, by the way, this district is one of the most conservative districts in the country. It's the most conservative on the West Coast, and it's also the most conservative in Washington. So we should have a very conservative member as our representative and somebody who wants to support the Freedom Caucus and their efforts. But it was a surreal experience for me to go into this closed-door meeting. There happened to be 3 senators there as well. There was no staffers, so the members were very down to earth. It was just a meeting, and in those moments of thinking about it, I was pretty nervous going up to it, but then once we got in there and I realized, like, wow, these are just people just like you and I, and wonderful people. Had just a great evening. I actually got to speak, and they asked me a lot of questions, and they were very disappointed with Dan Newhouse and want somebody like me to get elected. Several of the members endorsed me on the spot that night. Some of them I already knew and already had a relationship, which is how I was able to get invited to this. But I can just say that we have some good people that need our prayers. We have a good team that I can join as an initial starting point to be part of a good team, which is very important. When there's 435 members in the House, you need to be part of a team that you can vote with and that you can yoke with and pray with and strategize with to make sure that you're going to move stuff forward. So that was a tremendous blessing, and I'm back home now here in the district and doing my best to earn the votes and prove that I can do the job for people here in Central Washington. So thank you, God bless you, and we'll see you again next month.
Thank you, Jared, for fighting the good fight and exposing Dan Newhouse's true voting record. The National Day of Prayer is on Thursday, May 2nd. Our great sovereign God gave us this promise in 2 Chronicles. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. As we humbly and diligently seek Him, we'll be changed, and we will see transformation in America through prayer and action. Let us lift up the Word and light up the world. Thank you for watching. May God bless America, and may God bless you.